Let's read this question together. Now, the question is how often? How often? When somebody asks you a question using how often, what do they mean? Now, the question of how often is asking about how many times you do something. Now, if I can ask you a question, how often do you take shower? You will tell me, I take shower every day. I take shower every day. How often do you eat? I eat 3 times or 2 times a day. Now, how often do you go on holiday? I go on holiday every year. Now, let's see some expressions on how can we answer that question. How often? Now, let's underline this word often. Often is a British pronunciation. Americans always say often. So you can say how often and how often. If somebody said how often or how often is exactly the same. No difference right here. Now let's see, how often do you go to work? No, it's all about you. We are talking about you. About you. How many times do you go to work? How often do you go to work? Now let's check it out. How often do you go to work? Your answer, because you're always asking about going to work. Now, like I said before, you can say, I usually go to work. That's an answer. I sometimes go to work. That's also an answer. I never go to work. Now, never go to work. Now you are negating going to work. You are not going to work. You do not go to work. You say, I never go to work. I never go to work. I usually go to work. I sometimes go to work. But now, there are some different expressions if I want to talk about going to work. Now, let's see over here. If you go to work usually or sometimes, but mostly people need specific and accurate answer. How often do you go to work? I'm asking about how many times. Now, let's see. I go to work every day. I go to work every day. But there are some different ways. If you go to work every day, that means every day morning you go to work and come back. But sometimes people do not go to work every day. Sometimes, and sometimes do not go. Now let's solve that problem. Over here, if you do not go to work every day, for example, let's say you go only one day, you can say once or twice or 3 times. But how can you relate this to the time? Now, I go to work once or twice or 3 times. You can say I go to work once a day, once a week, once a year, once a month. That means you go to work only 1 time a month, not every day. Once a. We just add this a at the beginning of the word, and that goes to everyone. A day, a week, a year, a month. I go to work every day. Not every day. Once a week. Twice a year. 3 times a month. But there is another expression you can use per. Well, I go to work 3 times per day. 3 times per week. 3 times per month. And 3 times per year or 4 times per year. Now, when you mention a quantity of going to work, then you use that one. I go to work 3 times per week. I eat once a day. I go on holidays once a year or 3 times a year. But I visit my family once per month. Once per year.